YouTube, man, what the hell going on, good people? I hope y'all having a good day, blessed day. You know, all that good old fashioned old shit in the world. But anyway, today we're gonna react to 10 best WWE face turn ever. Of course, it wouldn't be a good face turn without Dave Bautista turning on Evolution when they powerbomb. Who was that? I think it was Randy Orton on his shoulder, or when they did Randy Orton wrong. And I seen they were talking about Daniel Bryan, and the Riot family when they did that one. Yeah, it's good to see when they transform even from a babyface to a heel from a babyface. It'd be good to show, different aspects of what they can do. But anyway, let's hop to the video and see what the hell going on. What the hell going on?
Turns ever. Join us. Number 10, Edge wins the Rumble. In wrestling, there are few truer sayings than absence makes the heart grow fonder. And one of the best examples of this is the 2010 Royal Rumble return of the perennial heel Edge. With John Cena, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Jericho fighting in the ring, and Batista guaranteed the number 30 spot in the Rumble, the number 29 position was the only spot in which a surprise could still occur, when...
You think you know me?
The place erupted. Edge came out with his blood boiling, tearing at his hair in that trademark borderline psychopathic manner. He was back. Some 7 or so months earlier, Edge was forced to vacate the tag team championship he held with Chris Jericho because of a career-threatening heel tear. Haha, heel tear. Because he was tearing away from being a heel. Haha, get it? He then had to listen to Jericho blame him for the injury.
Edge did great in both roles, but I loved him better when he was a heel, though. Love Edge better when he was a heel, but babyface, I love Edge when he's a babyface, so... It really didn't make a big difference where Edge was.
And tease him about his broken down body for the weeks and months that followed. With Y2J on the cusp of a WrestleMania main event, the Rumble was the perfect point for Edge to get his own back. He hit his signature spear on Jericho instantly, shortly thereafter chucking him over the top rope in an act of vengeance. The babyface turn was thus set in stone, and Edge would face Jericho as the babyface side of their WrestleMania World title match. The run itself may not be all that memorable, but the turn sure was. Number 9. Kurt Angle turns back to Team WWF. We all know the ins and outs of the invasion angle of 2001, but one aspect of it that often gets lost in the mix was Kurt Angle's babyface turn in the final match of the angle. The Survivor Series winner-takes-all elimination tag match between Vince McMahon's Team WWF and Shane and Stephanie McMahon's Team Alliance. In the build-up to the main event, Vince had planted the idea within the Alliance that he had a mole in their group. Shane was convinced that it was just a ruse, but the question remained, would someone turn? In what was the first shock of the night, someone from Team WWF did turn on their team. That guy was Chris Jericho, who had made it to the final 3 in the match and was one of 2 WWF representatives remaining. After being eliminated at the hands of the Alliance's Steve Austin, Jericho battered The Rock with one of his finishing maneuvers. Was the ruse actually on Vince? Had the Alliance planted Jericho in Team WWF to ensure victory? He was a former WCW and ECW star after all. It provided one of the best near falls of the year and quelled the expectation of another twist, but there was still one to come. In what seemed like a compounding of the terrible odds facing The Rock and Team WWF, Kurt Angle rushed to ringside, grabbed the championship belt and got in the ring. He clocked Steve Austin with it and gifted The Rock the win. Team WWF were victorious, Angle was Vince's mole, the Alliance was gone, and the Olympic gold medalist was suddenly about as over of a babyface as there ever was. Number 8, Andre the Giant turns good. Heading into WrestleMania 6 in 1990, Andre the Giant had been heel since his game-changing challenge to Hulk Hogan just prior to WrestleMania 3.
So Andre the Giant always a heel? He was just a heel forever. He was just always a heel.
But he was coming towards the end of his days both in the ring and in life. It was time to say goodbye. At the time, barely able to stand without assistance, the almost mythical Giant was turned to only on special occasions such as WrestleMania or sparingly in tag team matches. At WrestleMania 6, this was his exact role, teaming with Haku under the tutelage of Bobby Heenan, defending their tag titles against Demolition. Demolition pinned Haku for the win after entangling Andre in the ropes, causing Heenan to blow a gasket in the ring soon after. Heenan would point and prod at the Giant as he held himself up at the turnbuckle, rage beginning to boil. Heenan was so incensed at the failings of his Giant that he slapped Andre to get his attention. Big mistake. Andre grabbed at Heenan's jacket with his trademark unbreakable grip and began laying in the shots. Heenan sold like only he can and then was kicked from the ring. Haku didn't last long in trying to defend him either. The partnership was over, and soon after, so was Andre's WWF career. Perhaps the most famous wrestler of the pre-WrestleMania era, and an icon to wrestling and non-wrestling fans to this very day, Andre the Giant was able to finish his career and life as the sort of beloved figure that he truly was. And an icon to wrestling and non-wrestling fans to this very day, Andre the Giant was able to finish his career and life as the sort of beloved figure that he truly was. Number 7, Virgil turns on DiBiase. One of the more classic entries on our list is the perfectly constructed turn of one Virgil. Yes, him, on abusive employer and megabucks millionaire Ted DiBiase at the Royal Rumble 1991. The pair wrestled that night against the tag team tandem of Dusty and Dustin Rhodes, and despite DiBiase leveling insults at Virgil all match, Virgil and DiBiase were victorious. Not satisfied with just winning, DiBiase then requested that Virgil get in the ring, get onto his knees, and wrap the $1 Million Championship around the boss's waist. As he hesitated, the crowd began to get more restless, and the commentary team pleaded with him not to do it. But after DiBiase threatened his job, Virgil eventually kneeled, seemingly about to go through with his boss's power-hungry request. Then, bam! Virgil lamped DiBiase across the face with the $1 Million Championship. The reaction was huge, and Roddy Piper went insane on commentary, screaming yes from the bottom of his lungs as Virgil finally stuck it to the man. Number 6, Daniel Bryan leaves the Wyatt family. This entry is perhaps the one that got the biggest arena reaction of the bunch, but it ranks as low as it does for one key reason. Bryan was only really a heel for 2 weeks, and classing him as a true heel is still up for...
It wasn't even like, he was a heel, but it wasn't even long. It wasn't even... I don't know why they turned him so quick. He was great, and it's crazy, man. Both of them is gone. It's crazy. Both of them RIP. Both of them is gone. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I knew it went long.
Debate. Wyatt had somehow managed to get Bryan on side, brainwashing him into the trademarked Wyatt overalls, his big bushy beard instantly making him look like one of the gang. Exactly. On the January 13th, 2014 episode of Raw, Bryan and Bray were booked to face the Usos in a tag team cage match. The Usos won. After the match, Bray demanded that Bryan bow to him. Despite the audience's willingness to see him overthrow his new master, he bowed. Then, as Bray went in for a Sister Abigail, Bryan got out of the move. The anticipation at this stage was huge as Bray charged towards Bryan in the corner. Bryan ducked and quickly laid strikes into his Wyatt family master, the rest of the Wyatt family locked outside of the cage with no way to help. The crowd erupted in what was one of the biggest pops in modern-day WWE and one of the longest. By the time Bryan was done with the Wyatts, everyone was standing and chanting yes in unison. We were left with the unforgettable image of Bryan atop the steel cage, arms aloft, with some 15,000 plus people cheering him on. Yes, yes, yes.
I'm telling
Number
you.
5, Batista's thumbs down. Throughout Triple H's run as the
probably
leader
the best
of Evolution,
one.
he was almost constantly the world champion on Raw for the best part of 2 years. He ran roughshod over everything on the brand in the name of his beloved belt, even thinking of himself as an emperor entitled to his pickings of the empire. At the top, where no one could stop him. To drive home this point, he even used the thumbs up, thumbs down rule of judgment Roman emperors were thought to have used, mimicking the sadistic and controlling character performed by Joaquin Phoenix in 2000's Gladiator. Before this moment with Batista, he famously used it on Randy Orton after Orton's world title win at SummerSlam 2004. But for every high-level entitled bad guy ruling with an iron fist over his empire, there is an equally as adept revolutionary being built to oppose him. For Joaquin Phoenix's emperor, it was Russell Crowe's Gladiator. And for Triple H's world champion Evolution leader, it was his protege, Batista. The Animal would go on to win the Royal Rumble, and so the turn was set. Almost. Batista would hold a contract signing in the ring where he would choose to face either SmackDown champion JBL or Raw champion Triple H at WrestleMania 21. Triple H and Ric Flair had been at Batista's ear in an attempt to convince him to spread their Evolution empire to the blue brand, in turn holding 2 major championships under the same banner. But Batista had, unbeknownst to them, overheard the pair mocking his lack of intelligence in a previously shot backstage segment. When the moment came, Batista picked up the SmackDown contract ready to sign the dotted line line, pushing his thumbs up to his two mentors. Triple H and Ric Flair were ecstatic and threw their thumbs up in response.
I had the wrong
then
moment.
the animal's face
he
changed.
changed
The
it.
thumb dropped and the verdict was passed. So long,
He
Triple H.
powerbombed with-
So long, Evolution. Number 4, Hogan sides with The Rock. The penultimate match of WrestleMania 18
This
was
was-
one of the biggest WrestleMania matches of all time.
This was when both of them was heels for real, but it was way more people slide with Hogan. It was way more people slide with Hogan. That's how he did Hogan effect is crazy.
A bout in which two icons of different eras would meet in a battle
I'm
so
telling you, it was
fantastical
crazy.
that Jerry the King Lawler likened it to seeing Muhammad Ali fight Mike Tyson. The Rock, billed as the biggest star in WWE since Hogan during his first stint, was in the prime of his career at the top of the WWE ladder. He was such a machine, he'd had a show named after a phrase he'd trademarked, was doing song cameos, and was even about to hit Hollywood. Hogan,
Lion
Hollywood
King.
personified, quite literally, was a part of the New World Order poison
Yep.
given to the WWE by evil chairman Vince McMahon. He believed that he was everything The Rock was trying to be, and he truly felt he was still the biggest name in all of wrestling. Commence WrestleMania 18.
They was going
Instantly, the
wild.
match was a huge hit.
I watched this
Hogan
other
was
day.
cheered despite being the heel, and The Rock was mostly booed despite being the babyface. The torch was passed as Rock won, but then out came the two other founding members of the NWO, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. As Rock celebrated and left the arena, Hall and Nash got in the ring with Hogan and began to beat him down. Rock ran back to help, but he needed the real Hogan to come to play, and boy, did he. After being on the wrong end of a few punches, Hogan began to hulk up, throwing his NWO partners out of the ring and performing his signature poses for the world to see. It was a beautiful moment that brought Hogan back to the light side after one of the most prolonged heel runs of any wrestler in the modern era.
Bro, they didn't know
Number
who to
3,
cheer for.
Savage reunites with
Isabel,
Elizabeth.
yeah.
Following 2 years of running around the
Too young.
WWE as a bitter heel with ongoing issues with former lover turned wife Elizabeth, Savage was booked in a match with the Ultimate Warrior that would see Savage retire if he lost. Lose he did. As the knowledge of his impending exit from the ring began to set in with the crowd, Sherry compounded their misery by berating and beating the Macho Man. Then, in one of wrestling's most emotional moments, Elizabeth jumped the crowd barrier
Too
and
young to
rushed to
remember
his
this.
defense. She grabbed Sherry by the hair and threw her out the ring. Savage, heartbroken by the loss, got to his feet. With a fair portion of the crowd already applauding him in thanks for a wonderful career, he locked eyes with Elizabeth, and after a tense amount of contemplation, the couple embraced. It was one of the most real and pure embraces in WWE history, and one that turned Savage back to the light as his in-ring WWE career came to an end. Number 2, the Pipe Bomb. Seen by some as being more an Austin 316 moment than an actual face turn, the CM
Austin
Punk
316
Pipe Bomb was
said, "I just
perhaps the
whooped your
biggest
ass."
moment in wrestling for the past decade, and is undisputedly the biggest moment in CM Punk's WWE career. And let's face it, there was simply nobody more loved and adored than Punk in the aftermath of this brutally honest, fourth wall breaking promo.
They love Punk because Punk spoke his mind. When he did this, I still don't know if it was a work or what. Or they just let him sit there and talk shit. It's crazy work.
After years as a bad guy across SmackDown, Raw, and even commentary, Punk sat upon the Monday Night Raw stage to launch a tirade of insults towards the hierarchy within the WWE.
But before that, I wouldn't even consider him. Was he a bad guy before that? Because before that, I thought he was doing like the straight edge shit. How the fuck you straight edge? You a bad guy? Because he had old girl in the ring cutting her hair and shit. That's what I remember.
Peeling back the
Yes, he
curtain
was.
on the business and temporarily making himself the most famous active wrestler on the planet and one of the most sought-after
remember
athletes in
that.
all of sport.
I remember that.
It was a turn that transcended the WWE,
I quote,
and like
"You're
many a
fired."
turn on this list, became one of the most iconic moments
Shit.
in a Hall of Fame-worthy career. Number 1,
Austin
Steve
won't
Austin
tap.
won't
Was that
tap.
with Bret Hart?
Just tap out, Austin. Just tap out. The
passed
WrestleMania
out.
13 main event of WWF champion Bret
WrestleMania
Hart
13.
versus new badass on the block Stone Cold Steve Austin was a huge turning point in the careers of both Hart and Austin, and can be earmarked as perhaps the true start of the Austin era. Heading into the match, growing portions of the maturing WWE crowd was siding with the foul-mouthed, in-your-face Steve Austin more than they were with the whiter-than-white ultra babyface Bret Hart, meaning a change needed to be made. That change took place at WrestleMania 13, when Hart, growing in frustration at the live crowd and Austin's inability to give up, would become more and more engulfed by the dark side as the match went on, not only beating up Austin, but bloodying him too. Austin, being the tough redneck he is, wouldn't stay down. His passion to win was clear, and Austin was reaffirming that fact with his unrelenting determination and unparalleled resistance.
When last time somebody got hit with the bell? When last time somebody got hit with the bell? I ain't seen that shit in so long. Hit with the bell used to be crazy.
With the match at boiling point and Austin locked in Hart's signature sharpshooter, Austin pushed his body up as he screamed in pain, blood rushing down his face, and then he passed out. This, of course, meant that Hart won, but in refusing to actually give up, Austin had proven his worth to everyone watching him from home, and at that moment became the most valiant and over babyface in the whole of the WWE. So that's...
Yep, that man passed out. I think the Batista thing. I think I did the other one when they on his shoulder, Randy on his shoulder, and they flipped him off or something. That's when Randy. I don't remember. I can't remember just off the top of my head, but I do remember Batista signed the contract. Batista Bum and Triple H in there. So yeah, that was good. That was good. Andre the Giant. I'm too young for. Don't remember that, but I could have sworn he was just a straight babyface throughout his career. I mean, a straight heel throughout his career. Or babyface. What the fuck was he? Babyface? Because everybody loved him. He was a fucking gentle giant. Macho Man, too young for that. But yeah, the Bray Wyatt one and Daniel Bryan, yeah, it was short. It was real short. I thought it was at least about a month. He said 2 weeks. 2 weeks is crazy short. Yeah, that was a good one. They had some great moments. It's still crazy that Bray Wyatt gone. It's still crazy. There's only one member left. Eric Roman, that's his name. So yeah, that's crazy, man. If you have any more moments, or I know it's way more moments, but just let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Peace.